As a grand finale to this year's Thomascember and a grand finale to my tributes to Britt Allcroft, the Down the Mine pilot from 1983. The pilot episode of Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends before the first episode aired in the UK in 1984. It is based on the story of the same name from the Railway Series book Gordon the Big Engine. This pilot has been sought after for years after images were leaked online, and it was officially released on the official Thomas the Tank Engine YouTube channels in 2025 in honour of the 80th anniversary of the Railway Series, and in memory of the late Britt Allcroft. For those who don't know or even don't remember the story of Down the Mine, I'll go through it real quick before I go through my opinions and thoughts of it. Thomas teases Gordon about his accident falling into a dirty ditch, but when Thomas has to go to the mines to collect some trucks, he ignores a danger sign, goes right past it, and falls down a mine under the tracks. Gordon then has to come and rescue him, and the two make amends and form an alliance. In 1988, Britt Allcroft acquired the rights to produce episodes based on the Railway Series for television. She spent over 2 years meeting animators and watching test reels, deciding on what type of animation would be used for the series. After meeting David Mitten, it was decided that live-action model animation would be used. After getting a commitment from ITV, a low-budget pre-production test pilot episode was produced to pitch the series to several networks in 1983. The pilot was based on the Railway Series story Down the Mine and differs slightly from the remade version broadcast in 1985. After the series was greenlit by ITV, the story was later refilmed as part of the first series. And looking at the original models for Thomas and Gordon in this pilot, you can definitely tell that this was their first attempt at making models. And watching the pilot episode, you can see how unreliable their techniques were, which was why in the final version of the series they upgraded to the Marklin chassis, which were more reliable and ran properly. But you can't be too judgmental on the model's capabilities, because this was a pilot episode. It was made to pitch the series to any TV studios that were willing to greenlight it. It was not meant to be seen by the public eye. And after the pilot was test screened in 1983, a copy of it was given to Rick Sigerkol, the producer of Shining Time Station. Several shots from the original pilot were reused in the refilmed episode, most notably the scene where Thomas leaves Knapford. In 2022, both the dialogue and shooting scripts for the pilot were leaked online, in addition to several other early production documents regarding the pilot. The shooting script revealed that the danger sign on the pilot said engines must not pass this point, and not engines must not pass this board. On the 9th of May 2025, the pilot was released on the official Thomas and Friends YouTube channel to celebrate the 80th anniversary of the publication of the 3 railway engines. The restoration for the pilot was headed by Ian McHugh, an original producer for the CGI series of Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends. He and his team worked tirelessly around the clock to get these old reels restored to a pristine quality. And I say he did a really damn good job of doing it too. The original footage was restored in UHD by Silver Salt Restoration, and to make as close to a full episode as possible, some shots were repurposed from the remade episode, including one shot originally for the pilot itself. These shots were upscaled to fit the rest of the restored footage. A full edit pilot was not found in Mattel's archives, and a dedication to the late Britt Allcroft was added at the end. Another treat from the pilot was getting to hear Sir Ringo Starr's original recording for the pilot. It's just great to hear his voice involved in Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends again. Even if it was original recordings for the pilot, it's just awesome nonetheless. And it was a really nice touch that they called up Mike O'Donnell to do some new music for the pilot, since the pilot didn't have any music in it, as far as we know. And the music for the pilot is just new versions of the original tunes that he and Junior Campbell made. That's really impressive that they got half of the original musical team to come in to do the music for the pilot. That's just a real treat for Thomas fans. It's just so amazing that we actually got to see this original pilot on YouTube, and for free as well. It really shows how far the team have come from the original pilot, seeing what did work and what didn't work and what they could improve on later on. It also finally solves the mystery on who those 2 railway workers were behind the Fat Controller in the final cut, as well as many other episodes of the TV series. You would of course be forgiven for thinking that it was just 2 railway workers that just accompany the Fat Controller everywhere he goes. And for the rest of the TV series, it always seemed that way. But because of the extra footage we got in the pilot, it's revealed that it's actually Thomas's driver and fireman standing behind him, since the pilot gives us a lot more emphasis on the human characters compared to the final version. And that's one thing I love about this pilot compared to the original version. There's a lot more going on in the pilot episode, with more emphasis on Thomas's crew, a lot more dialogue from the book, and the moment where the ground collapses on the tracks is just such an amazing visual. And I'm still wondering why the hell they never used this shot in the final version. Because as we all know, in the final version it just cut straight to Thomas falling down the hole. that just somehow materialised there with no explanation. But the shot in the pilot of the ground giving way underneath the tracks before Thomas falls in the hole is just such an amazing visual. And it still makes me wonder why the hell they never re-filmed it, or at least reused this footage for the final cut of the episode. Another thing I love about this pilot is the emphasis on the close-ups of Thomas and Gordon's buffers. There's just so many aspects of the pilot that I wish were in the final cut of the episode for the TV series. And it probably goes without saying that the way they were filmed just makes them look like models, since there are loads of high-angle shots rather than low-angle shots like in the final version. But like I said, this is the pilot episode and it was meant to get investors interested in greenlighting it for the TV series. And having been given the greenlit, it gave David Mitton and his production team the time to find out what worked and what didn't work from the pilot and what they could improve on. And it definitely paid off in the end, since we got a TV series that lasted for over 40 years. And despite how the franchise has gone downhill in recent years, there's still a dedicated fan base that still dedicates themselves to the classic series, and the original books it was based on. The Down the Mine pilot is one of the best things that we ever got from the 80th anniversary of the Railway series, and it's just a great piece of TV history that we're glad got restored when for years we thought that it would never happen. It's a pilot that I definitely recommend watching if you love the Railway series and the TV series as a whole. It shows us what worked, what didn't work, and what the team improved on all those years later when they greenlit it for a TV series. It's easily among one of the best things to come out of the 80th anniversary of this well-loved franchise. And that's Thomascember 2025 all wrapped up. Series 5 episode by episode, a revisit of Thomas and the Magic Railroad, and the Down the Mine pilot from 1983. What a year for Thomascember it's been. And what a year for the franchise it's been too. I've had a real ball re-watching all these projects again after so long, and the fact that we finally got to see the pilot for the TV series is just such an amazing feat. It really shows how much of a dedicated fanbase this franchise has, and that it's still going strong despite going downhill. And this set of Thomascember reviews has all been dedicated to the late great Grit Allcroft, without whom we may never have gotten the TV series based on this wonderful franchise. I hope you guys all enjoyed my look back at Series 5 Thomas and the Magic Railroad and my thoughts on the Down the Mine pilot. It's been a real blast going through all these. I wish you all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and I'll see you in the next year of Thomascember.